Welcome to the video on SAIs as gender responsive organizations. In this video, we will focus on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 5, achieving gender equality and empowerment for all women and girls, on what a gender responsive SAI is, why gender diversity and inclusion are so important, and the steps and building blocks to become a gender responsive SAI. Let us start off by looking at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 5. The UN explains that gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. Providing women and girls with equal access to education, healthcare, decent work, and representation in political and economic decision-making processes will fuel sustainable economies and benefit societies and humanity at large. To achieve their goal of gender equality, the UN defines 9 targets and 14 indicators to measure progress in terms of achieving Sustainable Development Goal 5. Aligned to these indicators, the 2019 Africa Gender Index scores yield an overall gender gap of 51.4%. which means that Africa still has a long way to reaching gender equality. This is where SAIs in the AFROSAI-E region have an opportunity to narrow the gender gap by becoming gender-responsive organizations and by building capacity to conduct audits that contribute to gender equality. Now let's clarify what a gender-responsive SAI is. In short, it is a SAI with capacity to promote a gender-responsive workplace, with equal opportunities and benefits or outcomes for both women and men. The following 5 elements define a gender-responsive SAI. When the SAI vision, values, strategy, and mandate reflect a gender perspective. When the SAI has the necessary infrastructure, resources, policies, regulations, and procedures in place to promote gender equality. When management takes responsibility and accountability for gender equality. When the culture in the SAI has space for women and men to bring their views to the fore. And when gender equality is articulated in all HR policies and processes. But why is gender diversity and inclusion so important? When a SAI has equal representation of women, it can have many positive effects across the entire organization. Let's look at some of the benefits. The SAI will not only be able to attract more qualified and skilled women, but also millennials, as the younger generation nowadays actively seek gender equality employers. Secondly, the SAI will be able to be more successful in retaining women. However, to retain female staff long-term, SAIs need to foster a true sense of belonging and focus on improving inclusiveness and equality in all their activities. Thirdly, gender equality will boost the SAI's reputation, as successful organizations are known for prioritizing gender issues. Development partners and donors are also more likely to invest and support organizations which foster gender equality. A gender-equal workforce will increase creativity, as gender-representative teams can help your SAI's group-thinking capabilities and produce more creative ideas. Gender equality will also improve the well-being of SAI staff. A study by Psychology Today found a strong relationship between gender equality and employee well-being. When we don't feel that we belong, it can impact our sense of well-being and make us more likely to think about changing jobs. And lastly, SAIs will see a positive impact on their culture as organizational culture is enhanced when gender equality is welcomed and celebrated. Now let's discuss the building blocks to becoming a gender-responsive SAI. Firstly, SAIs need to define their gender equality goals in the SAI and HR strategy. Secondly, SAIs can consider incorporating gender equality in the SAI's core values. The third step is to report on gender equality, and the SAI's progress in terms of achieving gender equality in the SAI's annual report. Fourthly, the SAI should have a written gender equality policy and an implementation plan for the policy, as well as specifying gender equality targets. Now we get to incorporate gender equality into the HR policies and processes aligned to the employee life cycle. Let's look at the 8 HR policies and processes that can advance gender equality. In terms of recruitment, SAIs could stipulate how they will advance gender equality by setting recruitment targets for women. In the advertisements, SAIs could indicate that they would give preference to female applicants, for example. When negotiating staff benefits, SAIs could ensure equal benefits for both men and women, and consider offering parental leave, flexible work hours, childcare leave, etc. It is also important to ensure equal compensation for women on similar levels as men. Compensation should always be fair, consistent, and reflective of the external market. In terms of recognition, SAI should also provide equal recognition to staff for the achievement of individual or team goals, SAI objectives, and professional competency. SAIs could support leaders to conduct equal and fair performance assessments for both men and women. Both men and women should be allowed to give input to their performance plans, objectives, and targets. Equal and fair opportunities for both men and women in terms of training and professional development is one of the most important focus areas for SAIs to achieve gender equality. When it comes to succession planning, it is important to ensure equal opportunities for both men and women to advance to leadership positions. This will support SAIs to improve women representation in middle and top management positions. To retain staff, the SAI needs to make all staff feel valued, recognized, and appreciated. To ensure that female staff stay, SAIs need to foster a true sense of belonging and focus on improving inclusiveness and equality. And lastly, the SAI should ensure equal opportunities for all staff to participate in wellness programs. Staff wellness focuses on engaging all staff by caring for their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Caring for staff well-being will ensure a healthy, balanced, and fulfilled workforce that is productive and effective. In closing, these steps and building blocks will assist SAIs to consider different ways to advance gender equality, but also to develop their own gender equality policy. For more information about the Gender Equality Program, please contact Mariana at AFROSAI-E. Thank you for watching. Please complete your personal reflection on this video.